First 4 books pushed me to teach myself how to read. I always had one hell of an imagination. And I like to analyze and tear things apart in my mind. but I couldn't read. Till I was like, I believe, around 10 or 11. I don't know. But I do remember that one of the first 4 books were released. And I did push myself to teach myself with the help of Jim Dale, of course. I listened to those cassette tapes, but I also read the books. Obsessed over the books when I was a kid. I was always more interested in the Wizarding World, though. My favorite character, well, the most emotion, the understandable character that I could relate to the most. Well, there's bits and pieces of characters, but I'd say Severus Snape was probably my favorite. Because he was in the frame, he was imaged. I took the test online, but then I screwed up the other part. Because I accidentally said that it wouldn't let me correct an error I did online, but it put me in Hufflepuff. I was trying to go into Ravenclaw. Because I kind of thought I would, because of my obsession. Probably for the knowledge and mastery of magic and riddles. It just made sense intellectually, even though I couldn't learn amongst others. Strangely, I was a self-learner, but I was always doing things before I knew the definition for them. Like ASMR, for example. I was doing ASMR for most of my life before I even knew what it was called. I just don't record it. Well, I have, but I think it looks really cringy. What I've recorded. Plus, my childhood wasn't the greatest. I had to figure out how to escape. I've been told a lot of times that I should write, like, about my life, but I usually end up writing my life in my real life down in like notes, but then I'll mix them in with fiction, which I'm not sure was a good idea to do because I might confuse people. But I was putting it into, well, Ura's spell, shaping an Ura into a universe. It's not even my only universe. I've had, other universes, but this one in particular I thought people might find it interesting because it really, really, really dived into vibes, and it was also the home universe to death. Death I found fascinating because I was like, what if you could bring it to life? What if you could grow from it like the soil? But from death came a lot of things, actually. Strangely. lot of pain shaped that world, real life pain. Just that one world alone. The galaxy that I named it, but I don't always keep it that name. Sometimes I feel like it doesn't need a name. That system, well, that solar system in particular isn't even a solar system, but because the dwarf star is completely dead. But it thrives off that world called death. And the devil's mistake is what I started off of chapter 1. To this day, 10-year-old self, I remember. It's called the devil's mistake. The bringer of light brought life, brought death to life, brought a world to life that was never supposed to support life. Was that a thing for writing like that in riddles and circles? In poetry, like an entire novel, entire book. Like the promised one, and promised ones, and a little whisper was that I invented drugs, like plants, spirit, siren plants. I saw a book once that people were trying to figure out, like years later actually, but figure out who drew the pictures of these plants that don't seem to exist. And I was like, it looks like something I would have done as a kid. Just to invent things. Like spirit plants. The blood ruby leaf one is one I share often. The black diamond leaf trees, because they are they're in a location that is unavoidable to journey through to certain locations on the map of that world. They go through that a lot of times, but and there can be situations where the trees, because they feast on blood, the trees do, but they have to have, the roots have to go inside your veins, and more than half the time, the people who are eaten by the trees are already dead though, because, like I said, drug addicts will take the bodies of their victims, feed them to the trees, so the trees, black diamond leaves will turn to blood ruby leaves. Simple poetry that I thought was clever as a kid. Those blood ruby leaves, you crush them up, because it was my joke. I used to think about making an R-rated Captain Hook movie when I was a kid as well. You crush because I was a fan of a lot of things, but crush the blood ruby leaves. Figured there would be ways to consume them. Injects them, syringes, and they will tell you the entire history, memories, both remembered and both forgotten. I saw. But I also saw that if you consumed enough of someone else, and depending on the individual consuming it, you could become a whisper of yourself. Was where the idea of where whispers come from. The whispers are like Well, if the drug took over and all those memories were suffocating you, like, why would you do it? Treasure hunters, seekers, people obsessed with learning, knowledge, and figuring things out, wishing to dig things out of people's minds, because the world had 4 timelines, 3 of them very commonly known as reaches. As the first reset was also the first reach. The number 3 was a very powerful number I was going to amplify. Before the first reach, there was also the first creators, which were part of the devil's mistake. A lot happened. The discovery of the Sorceress of Light happened before the first reach. And the cover-up happened, which was inspired by my first book when I was a kid, called The Demon Diary. The cover-up is about the first creator, how everyone was in one person, was out of the generations that was related to the first creator. His father was actually his father made a mistake, but he was in redemption, and he didn't want his son to fall into this dangerous search. And he discovered that there were creators. It was a mass cover-up. This is where I originally, I believe, around the time that I first thought up the words "hold light, right sight." How could you brainwash an entire world from an entire history previous? I had thought light, photons, and neurons, since there were already micro-demons, because when death was brought to life, it didn't kill the demons, it suppressed the demons into the soil, and so they went underground. And that was a big-ass war where the first creators actually fought the demons, because the demons would come to the surface. They did. The first reach was also the first breach. Also when Robe came. The story of Spider and Robe were a duo. They were sisters, actually. The Rogue Children of Gris is what I called them. They were from a cult, an intergalactic cult. A cult on the stars, and there was also the story that they would meet Gothra, which is a star, out there as well, because I was obsessed with cults in outer space and music in outer space. Like I saw magic through music, actually, in sound waves, even back then. That was magic. Back then, for that universe at least. But it was those who knew how to manipulate sound, control sound, and infiltrate things, like Jedi master tricks through sound waves, triggers, and bug exploits, like glitches in the brain. But Yeah, but anyway, Robe fell in love with Gothra, Witch Star. She's related to the infamous Dragsar, Witch Star, which became one of my most powerful characters. He was a villain that was defeated, killed, long before death was brought to life, but yet he still occasionally comes back, especially when they're using his death to, well, fuel quite a bit of systems, dying worlds, or dying cores. But he's not entirely dead, let's put it that way. In a way, I knew that he would never be able to die because he was a living Necromonicon. Good or bad. And Robe ends up coming on the first. Spider lost her sister, actually. Back to when that happened. And Robe was in death. Spider wore Robe because Robe was actually a really neat shapeshifter that could turn into clothes even. I don't know, it was weird, I guess, as a kid. I saw her being clothing. She could turn into clothes and shit. Bizarre. And Gothra was actually inspired by Gothic, like darkness suppressing light in the Egyptian sun god Ra. That's just as it sounds, Gothra. Spelled actually Goth. It's exactly the same. Actually. And she actually has all the powers you would think of that a Goth would have. And she's also a solo intergalactic bard, which is how they met. Because Robe was, well, a duo with her sister. When they became the Rogue Children of Driss, they went into hiding and eventually formed a band, just the two of them. Plus Spider has a shitload of arms. She is humanoid, but I always saw her to have more arms and like how she was kind of tall and had arms and hair, prickly hair, like spiders, but silver on her. Because I knew she had to relate to, a part of her had to relate to the name of Shy Cry's spirit animal familiar. On Earth, a fictional world that doesn't exist in this universe, this girl named Shy Cry. I never finished that entirely. I knew that because I wasn't even sure if she was ever going to be born, because it actually was inspired by a real life story about Halogen. Well, Halogen's not real, but I heard and seen a spirit one night on Burson Street in Norris, New York. She came to me and stood in the doorway, a full apparition. Just stared at me in the doorway. This girl, she was just a kid, and it was morning, and I looked out the window. I saw I think it was an SUV. It was like, but it had like black tinted windows pulled into the driveway. And when I had the curtain up to my ear was when I heard her speak. She actually spoke to me, but she only said one word. And this was real life. She said, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy." That's all she said was "Daddy," like she was looking for her father. This is what I thought it meant. I don't know. But it's just all she said was "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy." The spirit said right in my ear. Like like some reason it came right up to me. Or she wasn't there next to me. It was just like the curtain in my ear, and then when it hit the side of my head, because I was on a mattress, to look out the window of the car. And then I thought, this is when I had this. I was 17 years old when this happened to me. As I had this thing about being haunted about, because I had this, like, what if that was my child? You know, what if I had a child? And I thought, what if you could have a child be haunted by someone who is not even born yet? And that is where Shy came in, because Halogen was shy. Well, as he was a shy, and he, well, he was on the run with his older sister, Angel. Angel cry and Halogen cry. And Shine die. Shine die. I always knew they were gonna have they were gonna have I don't know how to explain it, but I always knew that they were coming from another country, and I believe I don't know, but anyway, what I do know is that the father was the leader of a cult, and the mother was American. She was a victim to both her mother and stepfather. I saw a horrifying story actually in the background, and I knew that this cult leader would find an interest in her, and she and him, he would teach her how to kill people and shit. I saw that her first kills was her stepfather and her mother, and I just saw this spiral into something dark, and someone who came to help, the only person that came to help, and it was someone that was evil as fuck in a different manner though. He was evil to her, but he was very evil for his objective and goals. And well, Angel ran away with her younger brother just to get out of the cult, which they're not supposed to do, obviously, and their parents are haunting them, and also their parents' friend, who are not in a cult, her mother's friend, her only friend that she had before, who is I knew was some kind of police officer, because I knew that she would become that because she was going to marry her high school sweetheart. And they were both going to become police officers. And she tried to get the Angel and Halogen's mother out before she went in even further, but they failed. But they didn't want to fail with the kids. And, there was this whole story there that was different, not as exciting as the other stuff, but anyway, Shy I saw was different because Halogen could speak to the dead. Well, couldn't. He had it would flicker like a light bulb. That's how I described it. Spirits would come, and he was haunted. One of the spirits, he was haunted by his unborn daughter, or his daughter, and he's just a kid, you know. She's like nothing, you know. It was strange that he saw her come like that, and I think it would speak to him because there's an orphanage that he would end up to later on, and that orphanage was also home to an imprisoned witch down in the dungeons, down in the basement. But this orphanage had a history dating back to the 1700s, and it was a story about a girl that was born in Salem, Massachusetts, that Iris was his name. Iris took Salem, or took Windy, is what I named her. Iris took Windy. There's a story about the lens and shit. That was a long time ago, and it was about going into the Freemasons, and Iris protected her and raised her. Iris was a member that would be written off and forgotten. He was supposed to kill her at one point, but he didn't. Instead, he imprisoned her. And she doesn't die unless she is killed, so she's very hard to kill. So she spent thousands of years locked down there, and happens to be brought back. And is actually the mother. I'm trying to cry. Horrifying story, actually, because it sounds like a romance, but it's more like a horror show, because it's not. I don't know. Just say that shit there spirals into something, and it doesn't end well without spoiling anything. And but years later, Halogen owns that orphanage, and it's their family home. It turns it into, and he's also now retired from what he eventually went into as a job, and he's a preacher, or a father to the church. And so he would take this turn into something, and like towards God and stuff like that, and something like that. I saw it, and shy, well, had a familiar, and she first experienced that she was going through things when she was hearing a mimic, and when a spider came to her as well, because there was eventually her mother and a mimic and a spider, and the mimic was also inspired by a real life thing that I have encountered in real life, actually. But anyway, that impersonates people's voices, which can make it very hard to. I don't know what a mimic looks like, because a mimic always takes the form of someone you know. So a mimic is, if you do see them, they will take the form of someone else or something else. Spirits even. And a lot of times you won't even see them, you just hear them. Especially in the house that I lived in. But anyway, her spider's name was 47. And her abilities involved the quantum structure of atomic matter arrangement. So she was a science outcast, that had a thing for science and the structure of reality, and happened to inherit, the alien DNA of her wicked mother, which made it even easier. Something in which her mother never even dabbled in, or never even possibly knew of. A lot of witches went in blind, turned out, or just with geometry to a certain extent. But she had a sister. Her sister was the very universe. And I always knew that this was going to be a very interesting story, because I saw comics on the floor, The Adventures of Spider and Astrology. Because astrology was supposed to. Spider had a vision when she was a member of the Children of Chris. When she was a kid, she had it before her sister was even born. She had a vision that from the ocean sea, it was a mission. If I remember, there was a Scorpio sign, but that was actually trying to protect her. There was a bunch of different things going on with Ocean Sea, because in that timeline, because there was someone who fell in love with Ocean Sea. There was everyone wanted a hold of Ocean Sea, because Ocean Sea was also the portal's key. It was like she was an entity, a mystery for many, 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 many years. It would just appear on worlds and disappear. And eventually, they figured out how. And it was with a seashell. It was a lot simpler than they thought. They required this in particular seashell. And that they could turn her into the tool. The tool is what her name would become officially. The Sorceress of Light. Which was never her original name. That was what she was turned into. I always thought it was actually happened against her will even. But anyway, Spider saw astrology on the beach. he, in a vision, the spider would go to that beach when she figured out which beach it was, even. The saddest thing, though, is that astrology never came. She eventually made this doll in the image of the vision that was astrology. And during the breach of the second reach, obviously, because she made this doll after her sister passed away, the doll went to death and actually came to be astrology. In real life, you would be brought to life in death. And I saw that the vision was of an alternate timeline. And that timeline was not hers that she was in. It was her, someone else, another version of herself. And I was like, damn, that's horrifying, because what other version did she have? The version was all the other versions where she was going. So it was even. They were both very much alone. They were gonna be alone. Because there was only one. Which made this even more. Out of all of the timelines and multiverses, they never dated anyone. They never loved anyone like they loved each other, because they don't get to exist in any timeline but one. That timeline made it to a fictional world and a fairy tale of comic books. But in their main timeline, didn't even make it. It didn't even happen. In fact, they never met, which I thought was even more heartbreaking. Like, physically, even though they saw each other through visions. And astrology, on death, would create dolls, memories from these visions. Astrology stringer is what I called him. He would grow to be known as the creepy stringer in the haunted church, because I always knew he was going to live in a haunted church on death. He was also going to be the gravekeeper to the creator's graveyard, because he knew the importance. Deep down, this world must always have a creator, because without one, the whole purpose of the first reach and the third reach was to return the blood, the soil, to kill all the creators. It was always to undo the devil's mistake, because the devil couldn't undo it himself, so he would send others to do it. And he couldn't do it, because he couldn't go to death. He was cursed with immortality. Elsewhere. And just something, another story, but you never see who the devil is anyway. It's more like someone who knew, like a god that people would worship, like part of a religion. But it's a interesting story in itself, because this here, I looked at flaws. I was like, I can create religions Darkness was actually one of the first characters I ever created that I knew was going to be a rebellion and be a bringer of his own and create his own religion. It's the third reach. The second breach. And the last timeline. Before the death of death. Because when all creators die, there's no fight left. The demons will rise and devour all life. And death will take back what was there before. The mistake. Hell. Different kind of hell. A hell that just keeps eating and eating and eating and eating. And mortally. Even just the snake that eats itself constantly, but never truly is able to devour itself entirely, but anything caught in it doesn't stand a chance. Well, at least they thought that for many years before that mistake did something that was thought of to be impossible. No one bothered to attempt. That's why it took so long. Because the Discovery was not on their free will to dive in to do it. Tell you that. The Discovery was on a mistake. An error. I believe in immortality. Immortalities. Of different kinds and types. Don't believe everyone's avatar will be. As I will say, this avatar here. I've had a lot of visions in my life. And I just sometimes wish I would have shared them and told the world. But most of the time I don't. Because of fear. I don't know, the moment you tell a vision, the number one that keeps coming true, the sense, the vision that comes through, that, you don't trust. You find reasons not to trust it. But yet, it has never lied, though. And it's just me trying to figure out why it has never lied. There's the having the vision, like a receiving, and there's also creating the vision, like a programmer. You can have both, and I think having both, like I said, like being a fictional writer and a non-fictional, can feel like you'll easily be misunderstood. So you feel like the importance of dividing them or creating some kind of explanation between them but also to understand that even non-fiction is fiction. I mean, even fiction is non-fiction in itself. Once you learn about the atomic realm, when people didn't want to listen to me years ago, all I did was study things. Out to a point when I started learning words, actually, for things, because I was doing things before I knew the names of them. I had one of the original, I had the original 360 Connect, and I remember in the bottom right corner on the Xbox dashboard, I would leave it up. It'd just be on the bottom right corner. I can see it right now. I have it in the game room, which is also my bedroom. Actually, it's bedroom / game room, and it would pick up things like walk right up, start waving, and you could see it in the corner of the bottom, like the dots, the line and the dot. As a kid, I used to say to my birth mother when I would lay next to her, I remember being questioning, like, light and darkness as a kid because I saw dots. And I remember saying, "What are the dots? Can you see the dots?" And she'd be like, "What?" But then my birth mom would say, "Yeah, I see the dots." But she used to also tell me that the devil's going to give me all this other stuff. Which is very interesting because how that is received. I had as a kid, my experiences with my birth parents are different. With my birth mom, my experiences were you never knew. It was how do you know what the truth is? Because to me, with her, it was like living with a professional liar, or that wasn't even always good at lying. Like, I won a reward when I didn't win a reward, and I looked back as my kid self, and I was like, maybe I handled that like I shouldn't have, you know, because part of me is like, well, the actor, I should have just been like, yeah, I won a reward, but no, my self was like, I have no reward. Oh, what are you talking about? And my mom was just trying to make me look better. But then it's like, anything else I actually did do, I don't know, it was weird. And there's a lot. It is heavy, and then being adopted. My birth father was not really much around, and it was very bad timing. One in particular moment in history haunted me the most. Was the moment that he took me on my first girlfriend's weekends, because that was when our relationship started to die. We're already having a hard time because she would come to her father's on the weekends, on certain weekends, and I wouldn't always be there on every weekend, and that weekend she was there finally. It started to become this hell that nobody seemed to care or understand. I lost eventually, remember that street. This dude used to walk the street. This spirit hit the light and disappear temporarily. Water stream. The old mill where I just feel like when I look back at that moment, I feel like there was just it's like being told that you don't know what love is, but you knew what love is. But it, and it's the two of us, and and I remember making her laugh. We'd go on these adventures around the valley of Smithville. This is real. Sounds like a fantasy story, but yeah, how I met her actually was through my grandma. Like, I was running around the house as a kid. I was running around the house saying, I'm B-O-R-E-D. I'm B-O-R-E-D. I remember because I was teaching myself how to read around that time. I was like, I'm B-O-R, like, I was like, I don't know, I think I was like obsessed with being perfect with certain words. And one of the things I would be like, I'm B-O-R-E-D. My grandma's like, stands in front of the stove next to the back door and turns and looks at me, smiles, which she didn't do often. And she said, there's someone just as B-O-R-E-D as you. The neighbor is just as B-O-R-E-D as you. And so I went out there and met Caitlin, and she said to me, take off your hat. I say, you not. Why are you wearing layers of clothes? She's like, was our first conversation. Oh man, that was funny. Out front of this garage barn thing. I don't know, and then like had a coffin, a freaking I think it was like a Halloween decoration, but it was like a vampire coffin in the background of our scenery. This was in real life. So out back, there's no fence dividing the yard, so went out back. She was standing right there in front of that I don't know what the hell you call it, garage thing. That was a very big, falling apart garage thing, but with no door on the front, no garage door, but a big pile of stuff, and right on the pile of stuff, up in the air, in like the middle of the freaking room, very visible, is a giant vampire-looking coffin. I shit you not. Real life. And I'm like, I don't think I ever brought it up until later. I don't even think I mentioned it to her, and she never mentioned it to me. That we never talked about that, like, until later, when we went on this adventure, and because we found a bloody knife, we launched this investigation. I remember that because there's up in there we'd go. We'd camp up there. And, there was a mattress up there for us. There was you look over, you look down. I don't know how to explain it. One day we were up there and we found some reason there was a knife up there, and it had blood on it. And we were like, huh, where did this come from? And we never figured out where it did come from. At least I never did. But anyway, we went and ended up going swimming, if I remember correctly. But anyway, yeah, I think looking back at that, like, I remember the old mill, walking across the beams. You had to bounce across the beams. It's like, some people would, I think, would be like, be careful, like, with kids. But we were kids. And, my first time across the beam, especially with her, I was actually, remember feeling afraid. But obviously when I was by myself, and I was never afraid, or when I was with other people, but when I was with her, it was different, I guess, with her. But we bounced across, and you could fall in, and there's this thing where you fall. If you do fall in, you're really, really hurt. You could possibly die if you fell in that one spot. But anyway, bounced across these beams. The old mill was all shut down and broken. It used to be a pancake factory. There's this giant slab that curved. That was a big, big stone rock structure that an adult couldn't fit in. We were small kids, and her back was up against it with her knees up, and while their feet touching mine, and vice versa, my back was up against the thing too. We were both like, I remember exactly how we were sitting, and we were sitting like that, and remember we pushed each other up, and that spot was the spot. Like, was where I had my first kiss. I remember it still to this day, and I'll never forget it. And after that, things started to get strained. We started off, an adventure, and she was clearly the leader, and it turned to strain because of our family members, and then because of me eventually, and her. I don't know I don't know, but it was that I didn't know how to make it last. Comedy was always what always worked was on a timer, because it was like there was this wall that she was just creating, and she started to just like give up on me, is what it was like. And I didn't refuse to, and yeah, I guess it ended before I realized it ended. But I remember it was like the day after Halloween or some shit. It was like November 1st, I believe. It was, and her brother, she wasn't very nice to her brother that day. Because he was pestering us, I guess, and she didn't want him in the room with us, and so she locked him in the bathroom. Remember that day, just because she wanted to spend time. Tried to, but she again wasn't allowed to because her brother wouldn't let her, and it just, what she said to me that night was the rude awakening. That's how I knew. Because she was trying so hard not to get nasty with me. Like, she felt it was doomed. She gave up on me a long time ago. And, I think as kids growing up and all that, my mind was also somewhere else. Looking back at it in that, I didn't always make the best decisions as well when I did have certain choices to do things. And I look back, I'm like trying to figure out, but do I think it would have worked? The answer is no. Because our families would have never let it happen. Would have never. And Caitlin wanted something, and that with all that restraint, still would have ended because she would have ended it anyway, as she eventually did. And I'm just happy now. That's what I've heard, but I don't know. I have no idea. And it's just a very, where history comes from, and looking back at life and where I was in different times, like different locations, like having spirits and paranormal activity and stuff that not everyone believes in, but can witness. The one thing I knew about non-believers is that if they are brought into the circumstance, into the situation, you can make them. You could, because it will happen. And they will witness it. And it's like, and they have. But then again, afterwards, most of them would never come back. So, and I lost a lot of friends actually to my desire to share what I knew at the time, the bit of knowledge that I knew. Apparently, other kids didn't have spirits around them, or live their conscious lives around spirits as much as I did, I guess. And that's why they say not to live with the dead. But dude, I just thought like you time travel and see my entire life. All my errors and flaws, all, my trumps and, or whatever, my things, because it would just be easier to, it would just be easier. But then, because I realized that I was around people that I would not trust to tell my story for me. Because when I talk to people, they sometimes think I'm someone else or something else that I'm not. But I also do things that surprise people. And then they're like, well, I never thought you'd do that. So I go and get that. Times are, because that's who I am. I'm an adventurer creator. I was the kid who invented not just worlds, but entire universes, and was obsessed with getting them to perfection with atoms and weird shit with paranormal stuff, and right beyond was the thing I would say. And it's like, you know how much stuff I've said online that eventually took life? Like, it became its thing. Like, someone else says it, someone else coins it, and they go down in history as the person who created it, which is not actually entirely true where the original creator comes from, right? It's just the recognized one. I'm actually the influencer behind some things that people may not even think of. I watched Ghibli, for example, and I remember writing this thing years ago with, ASMR artists, and I remember putting artists, and it took on its own thing, but I just, I guess I disappeared, and it's like, I noticed like how plant seeds, it's like planting seeds online and then just disappearing. I mean, I guess that's the part that probably could be like bad on my part, but but I'm but I don't know where to stay. Online, I'm still afar, no matter where or who. It's like it still takes work to be in the dream, the fantasy of what could be real, but yet the divider that stands between. That you work with a divider that stands between, and that divider that stands between is probably the same reason why Caitlin gave up on me. So it's like, I understand now, but or something possibly. But anyway, go down that whole road, and I look at all this stuff in my life, and try to understand things. There was this girl in upstate New York I met. She was a tomboy, and I lived in, I believe it's Rochester, or somewhere around there, and I liked her, but I was also was I didn't see Caitlin. Caitlin was around all the way in another area, and but it wasn't that I didn't think of her, but I also was falling for this other girl. But I didn't date this other girl. Like I didn't let myself. I remember not letting myself, but I would become friends with her. And she kissed me, and I remember like backing up and falling over actually, because it was like, I gotta stop myself. I can't do this because I mean, I like her, but it's like, and Caitlin isn't around, but it's like, still, in my mind, it's like, I was still in a relationship with someone who gave up on me a long time ago, and it's just an interesting experience, I guess, going back through all that stuff, and this is still being a kid, and just looking at things in life and decisions, like as physical girlfriends that I've had my entire life, I don't know what to call like certain ones. Like, to me, eventually you start to wonder, like, does the one date count? It's like, because it was this, it's like, and it's like, I guess not. It's like, I don't know, but I don't think so. Maybe it does to someone else, but it was, why I don't think it was is because I don't think I think Caitlin was the only one that I ever had. Because the truth is that every other one, like Felicia, for example, or I'm not gonna say last names and avoid things at least, but I probably shouldn't even say first names. But and uh, yeah, I'm gonna stop doing this, but say names. But and I never dated the girl in Rochester at all. So it's like, but we clearly both had a crush on each other. But oh, and but there was, I think, 3 or 4. And yeah, so they were all based mostly in school. Like we never did anything outside school. Like I think we went to the fair once or twice or something like that. It was with one of them, and the other one I never did anything outside of school. She was supposed to go to prom with me, and she told everyone we were dating, and she was very public about it. So she just, wasn't allowed to go because her parents, her boss parents, forbade it. It was against the law, I guess, in their family, and I didn't go to prom because she didn't go with. Who was supposed to go with me didn't go with me, so I was like, I'm not going by myself. And I kept to my word. I didn't go. It would just be way too depressing because in my mind I had this perfect fantasy. I always saw the dream. Funny thing, really, it's like Spider in astrology. On that beach, staring out at the damn sunset, waiting for someone who will never fucking come. Because it's always the wrong time. Or the wrong, like your soulmate is out there in the world in the same damn timeline, even could be. Not like, obviously their situation is different, but yet never. It's like you go to the same spot, even. That's what I've come to realize. You go to the same spot and always be going at the wrong time. Or like, it's just a, like, fate can be cruel. Unless, like as someone once said to me, free will. Not everyone has free will. My grandpa actually said this to me. My grandpa was with the Native Americans and stuff like that. And he said to me, he would go on with these stories. And the stories he used to tell me were that there were these secret people, like just like in hoods. For some reason, like cloaked hooded dude described them as, but I took it and received it different. Like I took the hood as a metaphor of something, but and let's say that free will is like, there are those who know how to control it, how to to basically orchestrate it, and those who don't, and those who are under it. It's like, and maybe I wonder, like, why would you have to be secret to? Why are they all secretive? Why is it like a cult to rule it? Like, and then for years it's like, what if you could discover the secrets of the universe and tell the truth and still be able to pull it off at the same time? It's like, would I be like one of the first people to ever do such a thing? Like, I started thinking like that, like, to the story. Like, putting myself in that into the real world. Like, what if I figured out the truth serum? And what if I could? And why would I do it? I was like, why would I do it? Because I'm not invited. It's like, you don't have to be invited. You're supposed to just do it. But it's like, but at the same time, it's like, I'm not where I belong. I'm not with them. So if I'm not with them, then I might as well reveal all of our powers to the entire universe. And if you did this, like, could you still do it and still be able to an extent? Because money and numbers are the weapon that I discovered. That's how they control so much. That's how they come after free will. That's how they come after immortality. That's how they come after everything that is beautiful and great. They kill it with numbers, tax it, and put a profit on it, is what I've discovered. That it was actually numbers this whole fucking time. But the formula was a lot more simpler than people thought. It was just the complicated structure was that people were conditioned, and they loved the people who conditioned them. And there was a lot of conditioned love. It wasn't unconditional. A lot of programs that made people rely on conditions. And these conditions were how to string a heart. You know, were against liberty. It was how to harbor liberty as a hostage, but call it something else. And it just, well, that's a lot easier than you actually think. It's numbers, the value that people put into numbers. It's killer, I'll tell you that. Especially when you put some higher value into the currency, the like money and shit, then it could really ruin everything. More money into life itself, or more value into it than even life. When people put living, like living to live, like you can't live without money, is toxic. No wonder why people are so poisoned. Like good people get corrupted. Money is, I've come to realize, not a necessary evil. It's a thing to control things. But I also come to the realization that I realize that I am one of the most powerful. This is what I've come to realize. If I could pull off a flood as massive as I did, the release of knowledge out there that I did, then it's like, and still not be too late. You know, like I went to hell, but can I beat them? I think I can if I want to spend the rest of my life alone. I know I could if I were to sacrifice what I truly want. It would cost me everything. I know exactly what they would do. They would go for my heart. Go for my heart, then I will lose. There is no winning. And that's the most tormenting, horrifying part of all of it is. It's that you can't win with love. Because they use that to destroy you. they will use to come after you. So you have to live with the money, and you have to make it work, and you have to realize you're not going to save everyone because they're not going to let you. In return, I get that forever after that my kid self always dreamed of. True love, is what I used to call it, though, was the endless. Because it was just like so infinite. It was just like, and I used to say, I love you always and forever. And when I would say that, no one would understand me. Like, why would you say love? That's weird. I come from a place, one of the places I come from, we couldn't even say that word. In the 90s, in the early 2000s, you couldn't use that word without people discriminating you, like thinking like there's something odd or wrong with you. And I remember that. But like, oh, what's the 90s? Sometimes the 90s were great. Bullshit. 90s is just an excuse for someone to wants to wrap you in to educate you about, an era that was mostly about rebelling, but rebelling with hatred, though, like creative hatred. Like this punk rock era was, it set things free, and it was wise, it was smart, because they started doing, they had a kick of intelligence to it. Trust me, it was, but it also inspired toxicity because it wasn't handled correctly. The 90s is not cut out as people think of it. It's like, I feel like if I say that, then it's like, oh, well, someone will go to someone and get the answers to the 90s. Like, and they're like, what's the good things of the 90s? Everything good didn't last. So, I don't know. If you asked me what was good about the 90s, I would say that people that were born in the 90s think that their cartoons were in the 90s, but they weren't. They were actually in the early 2000s. Like, I did my research to realize that for years, people were calling 90s cartoon, like early 2000s cartoons, even 90s. Like, those cartoons didn't come out until the early 2000s, but yet some reason the 90s, they remembered them as the 90s. It's always like there's a decade off inside people's minds. Like, people have been a decade off with the accuracy. For many years, it felt like as I was looking at that, like the whole decade jump, where the inaccuracy of even something as silly as cartoons, that, or early 2000s. But it's then again, I had like 8 years in the 90s. So most of them I was a baby, crawling for cards. Blue frosting on my face, called a Smurf. My grandma. I remember that high chair. I'm not supposed to remember these things. I do have occasional memories of things that flash back, and I could see me moving, and I remember a robot chasing me. I remember a witch that was, I used to have the same nightmares as my sisters, apparently. My sisters used to say they had the same nightmare. at least. That was a nightmare about a witch. The same that would come into the house and would walk back and forth and could freeze you with a stare. This witch would look at you and you would freeze. Like, you ever hear the Messiah? Or the Messiah, I mean the Medusa would turn you to stone. The Medusa or something like that. I think that was something like Medusa. It doesn't turn you to stone. It's not. I think it was a metaphor again, or some other weird riddle, because I took it as, with my experience, that when you stare, when she stares at you with glowing eyes, I didn't see no snakes. I think that part was a myth. She was just an old lady that glowed, stared at me. You'd freeze. Like you just. And I remember having dreams the house doors would shut and not let you out. Or smashing, trying to break out of the windows, through the walls. I also remember being chased at the house by zombies. And then the house not letting me out, or the zombies out. And I was like, thankful that the house wouldn't open the freaking door, the one door, because I was sitting there thinking in my mind, like, oh shit, what if that door is open and let the zombies in? But I was like, it's not what the house wants. The house never wanted to have something kill me. The house just wanted to imprison me. The house wanted to own me. It never wanted to kill me. That's the thing about that house. I knew that that house never wanted to kill me, never wanted me dead. It wanted to own me. Like certain things wanted out there you come across. You have a sense. And switching on this Hogwarts letter. Having him again. Down memory lane. Adventure up and see some things in my head going through the Hollywood sign with. I can't see her face. I don't know who she is. That's the vision I had. Someone. Or running, sitting up there. And she's also leading. I don't know what to say about life. And communication. And I could say things, but there's this where the world is against you, against your heart. With experiences like mine, I saw some visions. But I don't want to say, because I'm afraid if I say them, listening. Because I want them to come true. And I know there's a lot of people who come out as, like, I'm thinking, it's very odd because I said that I'd mentioned the Eagles, for example, and because I don't really, I'm not even a football fan. Really, just when I saw them at the Super Bowl, so that there's stupid channeling things. Like I channeled other stuff related to video games in the past as well, and it's just a miracle in a way that no one else stopped that from happening, or someone actually made it happen, helped make it happen. It was not like it's gonna help me. I still don't know what to say because I feel even with it coming true and saying, it more out loud differently, it's like, it's just, I'm still, I'm still alone. Just really help me not to be like, come off like, try to be like, I don't know. It's like, it's not the dream, it's not the vision. I still have the, true love. And physically, I don't have it, but when I close my eyes, I can see, feel, and everything happens means something, and I see someone. See more than someone. But it's trust, I guess. Just Taylor is there so bad. I do know that she has been able to do that, gentleman, but I don't know what it is. It's just trying to guide me, I think. I keep disconnecting. I don't know, we're inside some building, I think. And that like there's something she wants to show me. Punch your feet near what's sitting there. Visions. your glasses on, your lens of knowledge. Just now I see a lot. Ready to descend through. It's like I could go to Ariana Grande, but I don't know. I think it's different. Like, one condition, it would be genuine. But on the other hand, maybe there's something wrong with the marriage. I think. Showing me something. The scenery keeps changing, the vision. Keeps changing. And maybe the gentleman is part of it. Maybe it's marriage. She's trying to tell me about. I guess key to gentleman. See what that would. Life is so. These visions are so weird. That's what happens. That's what happens. Because in the end, if you could see what I could see, yet you just to hear what I say, and stare at this hot rose water. There's a way that has become a podcast. Fascinating. Really. Visions are scary because you don't keep them to yourself, and you gotta worry about the rest of the world if they end up being, like the room changing example of, I don't know, means something, but my flaws are now acknowledged and now can create a window of opportunity to attack me. I suppose that really would matter. It's more if they go after my heart. Yeah, that's what it is. protection, shields, and incantations. Mushroom me. I suppose. All I could say is that she's in Los Angeles. I don't know why I feel LA is closer. Is she in New York? I don't know. Maybe I'm just something else is drawing me, that's deceiving me, because maybe it's so clever. It's like that mimic that I experienced as a kid. Pretending. Or just says like someone else. That's how it begins. It starts, someone said. There's frequencies and vibes and tunes inside your head. When did love become brainwashing? That's fucked up. I think people are forgetting. We'll never brainwash each other. But then again, maybe that's why we were doomed. I don't know. Being evil's the answer. I might be alone for the rest of my life. I don't know. Morality is an error. But because spell work and magic and incantations and languages, I guess really in the end, it really is our actions that matter more. The spells themselves write you right in your head. Like everyone is shared tower. The framework, see. Ukraine, Russia, see the frame, see the painting, see the frame, see. When you mesh to be vibes and frequencies, channeling through souls, universe. Every spell is for a reason. Every seed behind the door portal. I was in the bathroom when I had an idea. The idea came to me. Only bad singers for this movie. They're very good singers to me, but all that were judged and shut down. We're looking for singers that have been judged but never rewarded. And so we take them for the movie. We make an inspirational movie. We kill judgment in its place. We end it right there. World peace smash frequency. Zandala is here, feel you fall asleep. Autonomous sensory meridian response. Seeds and gardens falling down into your mind. In your head will grow and they will know. They will say and see and say and told. One lady, through the waves I see the tidal waves, magic, supernatural influences. ASMR, autonomous sensory meridian response. You may not like the way I look, you may not like the way I sound. Nice, everyone program. Super clusters. Z-Full 3 Zandadadadivi Zivivanlalarikando. That's the meaning. So these visions. I still question whether I'd say they'd come true, you see, even though they come true. Well, they do come true, so those ones always come true, but just because they always come true doesn't mean that one might come out finally and deceive me. Or set to something else and change. I think it's not to dwell on dwell and forget to live. A mere horizon for the desire to tell you the future. So far, it has been very accurate. It has nothing to do with desire. This weird tormented now. The happiest person on earth would only see themselves. What I see in the mirror of horizon is my deepest desire from within. I bet you it's an adventure. It's just me, my wife. I could just see myself on an adventure. A mystical, magical adventure with my secret to be I don't think I will share that, actually. I see. Interesting. I'm weird. But I'm learning, even if I'm snail and turtle. Snelly turtle. Hybrid mutant turtle snail. Who do I be? Who do I be? Take a photo of myself. Okay, let's just be interesting. Yes. I am pale, spotty, I don't know. Glasses. Sure. Anyone you want to be. It's like mirror who I am. Shit, let me do that. mirror there, I guess. Hmm. Blue. Must be colorblind a little bit. Go with that, I guess. It's a little grayish, but sometimes they turn that color. Let's see here.
It was wonderful. I believe I'm really going to enjoy this class.
That was quite something. I am indeed a student, but I could very well be able to help you. A few cobwebs and some dust. Nothing to be concerned about. I'm eager to get to Hogsmeade. It was wonderful. I believe I am indeed a student, but I could very well be able to help you. A few cobwebs and some dust. Nothing to be concerned about. I'm eager to get to Hogsmeade. It was wonderful. I believe I'm really going to enjoy this class. That was quite something. A few cobwebs and some dust. Nothing to be concerned about. I'm eager to get to Hogsmeade.
A wizard named I do not do this often, but I think I'm going to use my actual I'm gonna change my last name, I think, too. It's fine, I guess. Wait, what is his name? Which could be his name? Instead of using my name, let's be... Who is he? He is a... stay. I'm gonna do this. I'm ready to go.
It appears we are almost ready to depart. It's a pity we didn't have a bit more time to spend on spellcasting. I presume you've been practicing the spells we worked on.
I have, Professor.
Well, I'm quite sure I've never seen anyone take so quickly to a second-hand wand. You'll be a force to be reckoned with when you get your own.
Thank you, Professor Fig. I appreciate you working with me before the term begins.
Oh, Eleazar!
George, glad my rather cryptic description of our location did not thwart your finding us.
I've apparated to more vaguely defined destinations than this. Though I confess I may have miscalculated slightly on my first try. Gave quite the fright to some theatergoers in the West End.
It's been much too long. When I received your owl, I must say I...
Best not speak here, Eleazar.
Of course. Why don't we speak en route to Hogwarts? We have a start-of-term feast and a sorting ceremony to get to.
Wonderful idea! As long as your young charge here doesn't mind me tagging along.
Not at all, sir.
After you.
Ages since I've been to the castle. Would be good to see the old pile of rocks. Glad I caught you before you left for Scotland.
Just barely.
And who is your traveling companion?
A new student.
New?
Yes, sir. I'm starting school as a 5th year.
How extraordinary.
It is indeed. None of the faculty has ever heard of anyone being admitted to Hogwarts so late.
Nor have I.
Of course, as the other 5th years will have been honing their magical skills for 4 years now, the headmaster asked if I could get our new student up to speed a bit before the term begins.
Well, you couldn't have asked for a better mentor. Professor Fig is not only an exceptional teacher, he's also a remarkably intuitive and gifted wizard.
Mr. Osric is prone to flattery. I dare say it's one of the reasons he's risen so far at the Ministry.
Have you seen this?
I have. Opinions differ as to how great a threat Ranrock really is.
Although I've yet to convince my colleagues at the Ministry, I believe he is a significant threat. And it was your wife, Eleazar, who alerted me to his activities months ago.
Miriam? How?
She wrote to me about Ranrock before she died, wondering what the Ministry knew about his activities. Before I could respond, I received this. It was the last thing she sent me, Eleazar. It came to me via her owl, but with no correspondence. I can only assume
That she had to get rid of it quickly, to keep it safe.
presumably from Ranrock. I cannot open it. Whatever magic protects this is powerful indeed.
It looks like goblin metal. That symbol.
What's that glow?
I don't see a glow.
Nor do I. Merlin's beard. How did you...
Wait! We did.
Hang on! Yeah! Yeah! The key! Give me your hand!
Are you all right? You're hurt.
Perhaps a bit.
Take this. It's Wiggenweld potion. That stuff will right you in a second.
It's like a light bulb.
What happened?
Poor George. I can't believe he...
Christmas
What the hell
light
got
bulb.
into that damn thing? Attacking a carriage mid-air? A typical dragon would never...
Professor? Sir, where are we?
I'm not sure. But that key you discovered was clearly a port key.
Port key.
An item enchanted to bring whoever touches it to a specific place.
I'm feeling better, sir, if you'd like to look around a bit.
I would. But stay close. We've no idea who created this port key. Or why.
portkey take us?
Farther from London than the carriage travelled. We're somewhere in the Scottish Highlands.
Sir, those ruins. Do you
The
think...
portkey was meant to lead us there? I do. This has not been the day either of us expected. But Miriam sent that portkey to George for a reason. And I believe that she, and now George, died in pursuit of whatever it was meant to lead to. If you're sure you're all right, and wouldn't mind indulging me, I'd like to have a look around.
Absolutely, sir.
Good. Let's see if we can find a path, however faded it may be. Mind your step.
Where do you suppose your wife got the portkey that brought us here?
A good question. Miriam spent years searching for evidence of a long-forgotten form of ancient magic.
Ancient magic?
Yes, a powerful magic wielded by a rare few that seems to have been lost to time. Hogwarts Castle was built by, and is itself a stronghold of that ancient magic. I don't know where she came into possession of the portkey, but I am certain it was to do with that search. Ah, there's the path down below. This way.
But sir, why was your wife searching for evidence of lost magic?
Miriam wanted to understand why such powerful magic disappeared from the wizarding world. Spoke of the good it could do. But magic is no different than any power. What really matters is the one who wields it.
Is that ice?
It's not cold enough here. It appears to be a sort of enchantment. Someone wanted to block this path. Let's see some of that wand work you were practicing. Focus on the center. Excellent! That was a bit rougher than I'd expected.
Sounds like a Skyrim character.
Your wand work's improving with every cast.
Thank you, sir.
Ah, up there.
Yeah. Really. Invisible? Oh, 46 gold. That's really, really tiny. Interesting.
We're close now. It's just ahead. Steady yourself! Reparo! almost there.
Why would someone have built this here?
I suspect they valued their privacy. That portkey led us here for a reason. Let's have a look around for anything that seems out of place.
It's touchy. Interesting. Interesting. Things are... BRB. I talked for like ages. I'm not gonna go to bathrooms. Do human things. Despite the weirdness of the universe. What will be, will be. Have faith with grace. Yes. Grace with faith. Just trust. BRB. Big sleeper. No name half big slipper. I'm back. Social. Alright. Introvert. Alrighty then. I'm pushing myself. It's unnatural. Blockade barricade. Get drunk, have a good time. What words am I supposed to say to entertain and explain? I'm trying. So Valentine's Day. What should I do for Valentine's Day? Get drunk. Go to a bar. Or should I go to New York City? Get drunk, go to a bar. I'd rather go to Hawaii. But I don't have the money or the time. Well, I got plenty of time right now. Lately. Vehicle is priority. Part of it. A damn new vehicle is a piece of junk. Get rid of the junk and do something better. Something that runs, drives. I made a choice to put everything off to spring, and I kind of regret it a little bit. Because now I put everything on this season, the spring. Spring hits, which I believe is April. I don't remember. But all I know is that some plans to do some things, make some things, all art-related plans. But some of them require me to be in, like, places to do them, like LA. I go to LA every year, at least ever since 2021. That's the first time I ever went. Save the game. You could investigate, or should I go talk to that professor? Your choices. That's the objective.
Professor, this statue...
This may have been his home.
Hear that? It's weird breathing.
Professor, it's a mural of some kind.
Perhaps our host was a noted seer. Interesting.
Indeed. Self-consciousness. Everything. I have issues. Mentally. Shit. worrying about stupid things. Alright. It's a lockdown.
That enchanted crystallized stone again. But what could it be blocking?
Obvious destinations.
What's this? Professor Fig!
How odd. Why would someone have conjured that enchanted stone here?
And how is there a room behind it?
What room? I don't see anything.
There's that glow again, like the glow on the portkey container.
What in Merlin's name? Godric's heart.
Where are we?
I don't believe it.
A high value chest or something.
Hello?
Can't see.
It can't be. Just a moment. Ooh. Where are we here? Welcome to Gringotts Wizarding Bank. Vault number 12, I presume. Precisely. The key? Hmm?
Your wife's portkey.
Oh, yes, of course. This way, then. Stay close. After you. Keep your hands inside the cart if you don't wish to lose them.
How many vaults are there?
Hundreds. In fact, you'll see quite a few on our way to vault number 12. As we speak, we're just beneath the main lobby. The vaults you see now are the newest. Are private entrances to the bank common at Gringotts? They are most uncommon. Only one with great wealth or power, or both, could have arranged for such a service. You'll want to take a breath. A what? That waterfall washes away all enchantments. It's a security measure. Experienced the thief's downfall before, have you? Heard of it? These are the lower vaults, the
We're passing now.
How deep are we going?
Vault number 12 was commissioned shortly after Gringotts was founded over 4 centuries ago. It resides in the deepest part of the bank. Settle in. We've quite a distance to go.
Vault number?
Vault 12. Momentous day.
On your way.
Professor, the armband that guard was wearing was glowing. Like the glow you saw on the porky container. No, darker. I saw that same glow on the dragon's collar.
Yeah, what was that?
We were just wondering about that goblin.
He watches over the oldest section of the bank. Rare anyone goes there anymore. Here we are.
When was the last time this vault was accessed?
A goblin has been stationed at my desk for hundreds of years. In that time, no one has visited Vault 12. Until today.
You really take care of your vaults, don't you? Anybody who puts shit in these vaults.
Vault 12.
Thank you for your help.
Yawn to go with it. What is this?
What do you suppose
Ritual
we
room?
should be looking for?
I'm not sure. Sir, I wonder if you
The
might...
instructions for
voice,
Vault 12 indicate that I am to grant access to the holder of the key and then close the door.
Wait.
Professor?
That was certainly unexpected. Let me think. There must be something here. Revelio, perhaps.
Revelio?
Dinner vault.
Yes, a revealing charm. No time like the present. Let's see what we're missing, shall we? Ready your wand and focus.
Revelio. There! I saw something.
Move a bit closer and try again.
Courtroom.
A door.
Well, that's a start.
La da 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 da.
There's that symbol again. I don't suppose you see a way to...
I do, Professor. That symbol has the same glow as the one I saw on the port key container.
If what you can see reveals the way forward, then I dare say we are about to discover the secret of this vault. Lead the way. Lumos! This is no ordinary vault. I suspect we
Revelio.
need to earn our way out of here.
What do you mean, earn our way out? Do you think this is some sort of test?
I do. But to what end, I can't say. Stay close. There will be no disapparating if things go poorly. Not out of Gringotts.
I see something up ahead.
What is it?
That glow again, but on the floor.
Drugs. Heroin.
Revelio.
Lumos! What happened?
When I moved towards the glow, it suddenly seemed as if the ground was swirling about.
Are you all right?
Yes, sir, I'm fine.
You seem to have caused the floor to change.
That statue.
What statue?
I see some sort of statue, but only as a reflection in the floor. Revelio.
I presume this is what you saw reflected in the floor.
It is. The reflection's still there, but the statue's positions don't match. Wait. When you moved, the reflection turned in the direction of the light.
Perhaps you should cast Lumos.
Okay, let's do it. Bravo.
Lumos.
Well done.
Now the reflection's turning towards me. It does follow the light.
Look out!
Protego!
Accio! Descendo! Levioso! Deposo! Deposo! Protego! Exposo! Levioso! Confringo! Contigo! Descendo!
Is that all I got? Wow.
Protego! Deposo! Exposo!
Can I get attacked? Oh.
Defendo! Confringo! Levioso!
Lumos.
Exposo!
I don't get exposed. Oh, that's good.
Stay close!
My bad. I forgot I could do that. Great.
Professor! Professor Fig! Professor, where are you? This isn't good. Where am I supposed to go? What's happening? The wisps of magic seem to be leading me somewhere.
Secret chest, secret chest, secret chest, secret chest. La 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 la.
Ah, that's where they're leading me. That glow again.
Great.
Protego! Lumos. Revelio. I suppose I'm on my own this time. Revelio. Protego. Lumos. I need to align these statues with their reflections. Protego. Lumos. Perhaps I need to get them all to stand at once. It seems I have no choice. I'm going to have to fight my way out of here. Revelio. Protego.
That's what that does.
Revelio. Revelio.
Hello? Are you there?
Professor Fig!
Yes. Godric's heart, I'm glad you're all right. I'm somehow back in the entry room to the vault.
I don't see a way to open the door.
There must be something. I'll keep looking over here.
There you are. How did you... What is this place?
I don't know. But I found this floating above that basin.
That is no mere basin. That is a pensive for viewing memories. I wonder... Follow my lead.
All is in place.
The portkey is well hidden.
Perhaps too well.
Versus
I wonder if the path we've created...
May be impossible to follow.
That's
It
well
will
off.
only be impossible for
I
one
don't know,
who
I
cannot
thought
see
that's-
traces of ancient magic as I can.
Definitely not
Your
this.
ability to see what others cannot will not be enough, Percival. We are entrusting the one who embarks on this path with powerful secrets, with knowledge others will do anything to obtain.
Yes, and if we are correct, Charles, the witch or wizard who completes the trials will have proven themselves worthy of that knowledge, and the responsibility that accompanies it.
We've done all that we can.
That's what you're seeing. The glow that surrounded them.
Yes, sir.
Astonishing.
Can I see magic?
Traces of an ancient magic, to be precise. The magic that Miriam had always believed existed, but could never. Miriam, and perhaps George, died in pursuit of knowledge that has been dormant for centuries. And you, it seems, are the key to understanding why. We were...
It all looks rather different than it did a moment ago.
Someone's coming.
Who were they?
I don't know. But, sir, you shouldn't be in here.
I was right.
Ranrock.
Seems my reputation precedes me. I was beginning to think no one was ever going to visit Rackham's vault.
And why are you here?
No need for that. Just give me whatever it is you found here and we can let bygones be bygones.
Sir, they have the key to the vault.
Choose your next words wisely.
I only meant that the instructions to Vault 12 were quite clear. Sir, I must insist. I was to grant access only to one with the key, and you didn't have them.
I have no patience for traitors. Now, where were we?
I'm not giving you anything.
Well, perhaps your young friend here will be more helpful.
find no way out! Professor!
Are you all right?
Fine, sir.
I've never seen so powerful a goblin. He seemed wholly unaffected by my magic.
Where are we?
It can't be. It seems those who set up the pensive, the locket, and the path to both wanted someone with your ability to end up here. Come. We have a sorting ceremony to get to.
Forbidden Forest. Dude, it's so cool back in the day. That's good. I want to hope so. Because they might, I don't know, see for that.
Oh, good. We haven't missed the sorting ceremony. I'm no expert, but that seems more appropriate. Now, I need to study this locket as soon as I can, but first I must contact the Ministry. They need to know what happened to George and be warned of Ranrock. For the moment, I ask that you keep all that's happened this evening between you and me.
Of course, sir.
Thank you. Ready for the sorting ceremony?
Nice.
Phineas, Nigellus, Black. Prepare yourself to meet the headmaster.
Fig, nice of you to join us. The sorting ceremony's over.
There were complications.
Complications?
It seems the goblin problem has...
Enough! Goblins. I've no time for rumors, Fig, and I'm rapidly losing whatever patience I had left. If you're lucky, we might still be able to get you sorted this evening.
I'll be in touch.
Professor Weasley, we've one more to be sorted.
Welcome. You're just in time. Have a seat.
Ah, yes. A bit older than the others, aren't you? You come here with preferences and preconceptions. Certain expectations.
Or
I'm looking forward to meeting my professors and learning all I can at Hogwarts.
Indeed. Hogwarts has much to offer a dedicated student, and what you learn in class will prepare you for challenges outside the classroom as well. I wonder... I detect something in you. A certain sense of... what is it?
Daring, curiosity, loyalty, ambition. Daring is Gryffindor, ambition is Slytherin, loyalty is Hufflepuff, curiosity is Ravenclaw. I'm gonna go with Ravenclaw.
A desire to learn? I do enjoy a good puzzle, and I believe I have a ready mind.
You're clever indeed. You have the ability to reflect clearly on that which puzzles others. And you've a ready mind, quick to learn. Perhaps you belong in Ravenclaw.
Yep. Choose a different house or accept house. I will accept house.
You belong in Ravenclaw!
Oh, and one more thing. Due to the unfortunate injury on the pitch in last spring's final, this year's Quidditch season has been cancelled. Enough! It's not as though I've banned flying altogether. But don't tempt me. You are here to focus on your academic futures. I'm sure you will have plenty to do before classes begin tomorrow. I said, I'm sure you all have plenty to do before classes begin tomorrow.
Quite an entrance. It's lovely to meet you. I'm...
Professor Weasley, would you be so kind as to show our new student to their common room?
I shall see to it, sir. As I was saying, I'm Professor Weasley. Pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well, Professor.
As Deputy Headmistress, it is my distinct honor to show you to your common room. Right this way. It's quite uncommon for a student to begin as a fifth year. Might be a bit of a challenge, but one I'm sure you're up for.
I am, Professor.
This is the entrance to the Ravenclaw common room. You must solve a riddle to enter. I won't be of much help, I'm afraid. This sort of thing has always confounded me.
Who lived longer? The ghost or the poltergeist?
A ghost or a poltergeist? A non-being can never have been.
Well done. Now, go on in and get some sleep. You have a big day ahead of you tomorrow. I shall be back in the morning to collect you for your first class.
Thank you, Professor Weasley.
You're welcome. I hope you enjoy your first night at Hogwarts. Sleep well.
Looks like everyone's gone. Better head to the common room.
Blue. Make a mess of the room. Just say. 1612. Maybe the girls' storm. What would be cool? Level 3 luck. Another dorm. It's very kind of a bit boring. Especially the bathroom. Ravenclaw bathroom. Open all of the bathrooms. I'm actually sorted into Hufflepuff though. When I take the test, I actually don't get Ravenclaw.
Seems to fit, Mr. Sharp. Not really. I think the man's brilliant. Only one from twice.
This should be interesting.
If I had to pick a professor to race against, it must be different. Starting Hogwarts in your 5th year. Or 75 or something.
I'm not sure this is the right spot.
I'd wager it was something to do with his time as an aura.
Professor Anai has fascinating stories about growing up in Uganda. I wish he'd teach us how to do wondrous magic like they do at Wagatu.
I don't mind saying I find it hard to comprehend the fact as a boy. What sort of witch would take that man's family?
Interesting.
I'm not sure this is the right spot.
Where did you get your dragonhide gloves? I saw you handling that Slargo from mythology. You know my gloves went mysteriously missing.
Perhaps you can meet me after herbology and show me how I'm supposed to do that thing with the soil. I'm sure Garlic wouldn't mind us going to one of the greenhouses to practice.
I think I'm gonna learn a lot.
That's just brilliant, Amit. Brilliant! You'd think you could... Ah! That is not how that...
I'm not sure this is the right spot. I want him to be in the perfect place. A place he'll be happy with. But I can't seem to find it. Great golden gobstones! I want him to thrive here.
Golden gobstones.
My own little expression. I bought this Dittany seedling from home, and I so want him to feel cozy. Dittany is amazing, isn't it? So much healing power in such a little plant. I've a bit of a thing for plants, as you can see. Pleased to meet you. I'm Samantha.
Nice to meet you, Samantha. Is Dittany used in Wiggenweld potion?
It is. Looks like someone's been studying up on their potion making.
Actually, Professor Fig told me about the Wiggenweld potion.
Of course. I heard you were studying with him before term. He's an enigma, Fig. Teaches about theory, yet seems to know a lot about practical magic.
Professor Fig does know a great deal about, different forms of magic.
Well, I hope he told you about more than Wiggenweld. You've lots to catch up on, I'm sure.
Is it common practice for students to grow their own ingredients?
Oh, yes. In fact, our herbology teacher, Professor Garlick, encourages it. And I don't think Professor Sharp, our potions master, cares where you get your ingredients, as long as your brews are all perfect.
An affinity for herbology is more typical of a Hufflepuff than a Ravenclaw, isn't it?
Ordinarily, perhaps, but it runs in my family. We've a full plot of these little fellows back home. I suppose you could say herbology is in my roots.
It was nice to meet you, Samantha. Good luck with your Dittany.
Thank you. And good luck to you too on your first day.
That's just brilliant, Amit. Brilliant! You'd think you could... Ah! That is not how that... Why, hello. Would you like to take a look? Can't see too much in the day. Well, except for stars like Sirius, Canopus, Vega, and Arcturus. I'm Amit. Pleasure to have you in Ravenclaw. Never met someone who's been so close to a dragon before.
Can't say I'd recommend it, frankly. It's nice to meet you, Amit. I take it you like astronomy?
Oh, yes. So much to be learned from the stars. Also, there's something about the open air and night sky above the tower. It's invigorating. You will adore astronomy. Professor Shaw is incredibly knowledgeable.
I hope astronomy's on my schedule. Sounds interesting.
I have good news for you. You are most definitely taking astronomy. It is required for all fifth years. You will be enthralled with the tower. Plus, a quality telescope can show you things you never dreamed of.
I suppose I'll see you in class then.
Yes. Oh, and speaking of class, better get to my first one of the year. Nothing like the smell of fresh parchment, is there? Be seeing you!
My interest in herbology stems solely from my desire to excel in potions. If you can't brew with it, don't grow it, I say.
This should be interesting.
Girls' dormitory. My guess.
I suppose some introductions are in order.
Just have to wait for the right moment. One moment. Watch this.
Ugh! What is this? Someone threw a dung bomb. Let's get out of here.
That wasn't quite the reaction I wanted. Oh well.
Right. What did you hope would happen?
I suppose I hoped it would lighten the mood. Ravenclaws can be a bit on edge the first day of class. I'm Everett, by the way. You seem downright calm next to some of these characters, and you survived a rather harrowing trip here.
I'm glad to be here. Ready for classes to start.
Good. Glad to hear it. Truly, there's no reason to be nervous. Most professors are firm but fair. I mean, not all of the tricks I play are as simple as a tossed dung bomb, and I'm still here.
Wait, did you say most professors are fun but fair?
Ha! I did. But probably best I let you judge for yourself. I do tend to push their limits. I should wander off before someone traces that dung bomb back to me. Nice meeting you.
You too, Everett.
Hey there, new Ravenclaw. Professor Weasley is looking for you just outside. You had best not keep her waiting. Can't imagine starting a new school this late.
Interesting. Check this one. Seventh floor. This must be the 7th year dorms. Seventh. They're a little underwhelming. The beds in the Ravenclaw dormitories don't look. I feel like could have been more, I don't know. Well, I suppose. The Ravenclaw thing is probably, I mean, the, what do you call it? The chimp that counts. Actually, wow, that's cool.
Did you think Black will be headmaster? I have family in America. Wonder if I could transfer to Ilvermorny and come back when he's gone.
The headmaster hates everyone who isn't a pure-blood Slytherin.
Good thing Professor Weasley takes her role seriously, since Black clearly has no interest in his.
Does Professor Black have children of his own?
Poor things if he does. Black noticed the scuff on his shoe the other day, and would not take another step until a house elf polished it away for him. Horrid man.
Do you suppose Black's children are as condescending and ill-tempered as he is?
That is interesting. Sirius Black. Let's just sit down and actually play the piano and like playing itself. Okay. I can play the piano a little bit. I tried the guitar and Not very good. Piano and drums. Not bad. This goes to the top floor to level 1. Don't got level 1 at LA Limara. You know that they have this dual sense. It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to speak to the controller. Man, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to without falling asleep. I am starting to get very, very tired. This does take you down. So what does this do? Am I in trouble? Let's diet down.
Good morning. I trust you're ready for your first day at Hogwarts?
I've been dreaming of this day for a long time. Can't believe I'm here.
Well, you are here. Make the most of it. You only have one first day at Hogwarts. Now, in light of your unique situation, joining us as a 5th year, you'll need to catch up with your classmates and not fall behind. Especially as you'll be expected to complete your OWLs at the end of the year.
OWLs?
Ordinary wizarding levels?
Yes, your ordinary wizarding level exams.
I remember.
They will determine
that
what type of career you can have when you leave here. After much discussion with the headmaster and the Department of Magical Education at the Ministry, we've devised something extraordinary to ensure your success. Here you are.
What is it?
It is a wizard's field guide. It will help you to keep track of what you are learning so that you master all that's expected of a 5th year. You would be wise to take full advantage of this exceptionally valuable resource.
Thank you, Professor, but what do you mean it will keep track of what I'm learning?
Perhaps seeing it in action will answer any questions you may have. Walk with me and we shall put it to the test. This way. The guide will give you opportunities to practice your magic and educate yourself about wizarding lore. I certainly would have appreciated something like the field guide when I was a student.
Interesting.
Why don't you cast Revelio on this bust and see what details the field guide can provide?
Revelio.
Called Bust Guide Pages. The bust created in honor of Ravenclaw House resides in the lofty Ravenclaw Tower. I could collect chocolate rock cards and stuff in this game, that's right. I, for some reason, just remembered that. There's gonna be some cool stuff coming up. You've just unlocked the Field Guide Challenge. Your progress towards completing challenges appear here. Nice. I feel like there's going to be a replay value. I'm going to play as a good guy. And then I'm going to play as a bad guy. But I'm going to play this good guy first. Field Guide Challenges are the only way to acquire experience from those books. Okay. XP. Challenges increase. While there is a level system, tracks your current challenges. Plus, oh, what's up? Oh, those cats. Go into the bathroom, scratching the thing. Say, oh no. We'll just do that. Let's see. Field guide pages. Each challenge has tiers as rewards and like each other. Okay. I'm gonna have to get off here soon.
Clever, isn't it? Keep your eyes open for more opportunities like that, inside and outside of the castle.
Old, but makes me feel a little bit younger playing this. Takes me back.
No time to waste. You've classes to attend.
I was big Pokemon and Harry Potter fan as a kid. And music. But that's real life stuff. Fiction stuff is... WB cartoon Pokemon. Disney Channel was the Waverly Place. It's my all-time favorite. Different. So go the dragon. Oh shit. Can't leave, sorry.
Ah, good timing. Perfect opportunity to show you how to use flue flames to get around a bit quicker. Your field guide contains a map of the castle. Open it up and find Central Hall. And here we are. Quite the time saver. These stairs lead directly to Central Hall. You can get almost anywhere in the castle quickly from Central Hall.
So cool. Need to explore.
Always something happening here. It's the heart of the hive. Our King's Cross station, so to speak. That should be all for now. You'll be expected to attend both Charms and Defense Against the Dark Arts classes today. And I'd like to be sure you get to Hogsmeade as soon as possible to replace the supplies you lost on the way here.
What will I learn in Charms class?
Exactly what you might expect. Spells, charms, jinxes, all terribly useful. I think you will enjoy Professor Ronan. He's a clever and entertaining wizard, and a talented teacher.
Can you tell me more about the Defense Against the Dark Arts class?
Defense Against the Dark Arts, as the name implies, focuses on how to defend oneself against the evils that lurk beyond these walls. A mastery of Defense Against the Dark Arts is required for those who aspire to become Aurors. Fortunately, we are lucky to have the ever-gifted Professor Heckert in charge of our students' education in that regard.
You mentioned Hogsmeade, Professor.
Hogsmeade is the only all-wizarding village in Britain, and is home to an array of shops and pubs. You should be able to find all of the school supplies you require in Hogsmeade. You will also, I imagine, enjoy many a butterbeer there with friends in due course.
Thank you, Professor Weasley.
A lot to absorb on your first day, and you have much to learn. Happily, your professors have agreed to create additional assignments for you outside of class. You'll be up to speed in no time. Judging by your adept use of Revelio earlier, I'd say Professor Fig succeeded in at least showing you the basics.
He did, Professor.
He's been terribly vague as to the events preceding your arrival, specifically about what happened after that awful dragon attack. My suspicion is that there's more to the story than a search for belongings and an extended trip up to the castle.
There is, in fact. Shit. I'm not gonna lie.
We did take a bit of a detour on the way here. Ended up exploring some ruins, and I shouldn't say more.
Exploring ruins? Well, I presume Professor Fig has his reasons for keeping the details to himself for now. Speak of the devil, Professor Fig. Your ears must have been burning.
Oh?
Yes. You seem to have provided our new fifth year with a solid foundation in the basics of spellcasting.
Ah, I'm afraid I can't take all the credit there, Professor. They've a rare aptitude for magic, it seems.
Well, I'm just glad you both arrived in one piece. Perfectly good boats and carriages to Hogwarts, and you chose to fly in the path of a dragon.
I wouldn't say I chose the dragon's path, Professor. Rather unfortunately, it would seem that it chose us.
Very well. Enough chit-chat. I need to get to class myself. Might I rely on you, Professor Fig, to explain the details of the field guide's map?
Of course.
Thank you. Good luck today. And remember to use your field guide. It will be invaluable to you. And invaluable to me, as I'll be using it to keep up to date on your progress.
Yes, Professor.
Come and find me in my classroom after you've attended both classes today, and I'll explain more about those assignments I mentioned. And we'll see if we can't get you to Hogsmeade for those supplies.
Interesting. Okay, I should really save this. And probably stream tomorrow. Maybe on Twitch. Okay. Check it works. On auto saves, one manual save. Alrighty then. God bless, Godspeed. Figure out life as we go. I wish everyone the best. And GN. Wow, Timetraveling. I'll change the name. Altiers. Saranara. Peace and love and broadcast stops. See the words that flow, all the obsessions that glow and grow and shine and push inside the mind.